Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat? With the way that the Saints have started, this will be of no surprise to any of you. I have gotten an awful lot of messages. Twitter, on the text line, DMs, carrier pigeon. Scone, what do you think of Derek Carr now? I think he's been awesome. I think Derek Carr has been, without any caveat, without any qualification, awesome. Undeniable. Leading the league right now in touchdown passes, leading the league in completion percentage. We have crowned him and ordained him here the emperor of empty yards. And that was warranted. A guy who, throughout his career, at times has stat compiled late in games. See the Rams game a year ago. I went through it last week. The number of 300-yard games he had last year in losses. But where was the efficiency? Where were the wins? But unequivocally, through 2 games, Derek Carr has been awesome. And I will always say this. If you're going to give criticism when it's warranted, so too must you give praise and credit where it is due. And Derek Carr, through 2 weeks, has been awesome. Accurate, poised, confident, efficient, any adjective you want. He has been awesome. And if he continues to play like this the rest of the season, the Saints are a challenger in the NFC. Period. Full stop. So there's a couple of ways that I want to look at what's going on right now with Carr and with this offense. First of all, let's be very clear. Derek Carr is in his 11th NFL season. Year 11. There is no denying, none, over a 161-game career sample what Derek Carr is. Okay? That's a big enough sample size for you to draw conclusions about a player. 161 games, that's a lot. And what Derek Carr has been for his entire career is a good starting quarterback, not a backup, not a maybe borderline starter, a good starting quarterback in the NFL, not a championship level quarterback, not a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. He is a high teens, 20-ish starting quarterback in the NFL. That's what he is. Before this season, Pro Football Focus rated Derek Carr the 21st best quarterback in the NFL. Pro Football Network had him 17th. The Ringer had him 19th. NFL.com ranked Derek Carr coming into the season the 20th best quarterback. That's what he is. You have had a decade-long sample to suggest that is what this player is. ESPN polled NFL executives this year. Rank your top 10 quarterbacks. 18 quarterbacks got votes. Derek Carr was not one of them. As a starting quarterback, he has had 3 winning seasons. 3. In 2016, they went 12-3 before he got hurt. In 2021, he was 10-7. And then last year with the Saints, he was 9-8. That's it. As a starting quarterback in the NFL, he's had 3 winning seasons. Again, there was a large enough sample of Derek Carr's career to know what he is. And what he is an average starting quarterback. So what you are seeing right now from Derek Carr, which is amazing, and he deserves a ton of credit for it. I'm giving him his credit. I've always said this about Derek Carr. great man, great husband, great father, great teammate, elite, all those things that you want to be great at in life. Just not an elite quarterback. And he hasn't been in his career. What we are seeing right now is an outlier. So what is the reason for the outlier? And I want to point out two instances where I think this correlates to what we are seeing with Derek Carr. And it's a reason that if you're a Saints fan, you should be really, really optimistic that he will be able to keep this pace this year. Number one is Rich Gannon. And if you're old enough to remember Rich Gannon, you know what I'm about to say. But if you're younger, I'll connect these dots. So Rich Gannon played 18 NFL seasons. Started in 1987 with the Minnesota Vikings. And for his career, Rich Gannon was a good NFL quarterback. He was a starting NFL quarterback. Over his 18 seasons, he played in 157 games. Remember, these were 16-game seasons at the time. But he played in 157 games with 132 career starts. Rich Gannon, over the course of his career, threw for over 20. Wait, hang on. Where is his passing total? Sorry. I passed it. Here it is. My apologies. Over his career, Rich Gannon threw for 28,743 yards over his 157 games played. Again, Rich Gannon was a good player. He was a starter in the NFL. And then, if you're looking at his career, you'll see this. Like, this is Pro Football Reference. Pull this up, Paulie, please. You look at Rich Gannon's career log here from 87, and you scroll down, and then all of a sudden you'll see, oh man, look, late in his career, those little stars right there, those are Pro Bowl appearances. So Rich Gannon ends up going to Oakland. He gets paired with John Gruden, and all of a sudden he becomes a Pro Bowler. And in 2002, Gruden went to Tampa, and Bill Callahan, who was the OC in Oakland, becomes the head coach. And the year Bill Callahan becomes the head coach, Rich Gannon throws for 4,689 yards, 26 touchdowns, 10 picks, wins the NFL MVP in his age 37 season. And the Raiders go to the Super Bowl, and they got blown out by Gruden's Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But that is the outlier for Rich Gannon. He was Derek Carr. He was a starting quarterback. He was a good starting quarterback in the NFL who every now and again had a nice season, but then he got paired up with the right coach. It was the magical unlock, and then he became an All-Pro. He was a two-time first-team All-Pro, and in 2002, he became the NFL MVP, the Offensive Player of the Year. They won the AFC, went to the Super Bowl. But that was an outlier for Rich Gannon. And Bill Callahan was the unlock. The other I'll give you is someone that we all know very well here, and that's Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan, his first-round pick out of Boston College, and was a really good NFL quarterback. Matt Ryan is a Hall of Famer, in my opinion. You may disagree. We can have that debate, but I think Matt Ryan is a Hall of Famer. Matt Ryan started all 234 games in which he played. He threw for 62,000, nearly 63,000 yards in his career. He is at or near the top 10 in all these statistical categories. I think Matt Ryan is a Hall of Famer. He's a stat compiler, but I believe he's a Hall of Famer. And Matt Ryan, in 2010, made a Pro Bowl. He made a couple of Pro Bowls, y'all, during an era where nobody wanted to go to the Pro Bowl. And so the quarterbacks that made the Pro Bowl would opt out and not play, or because they were in the Super Bowl. And so then Matt Ryan would get in. And he was a good player, but was never really like a great player. And then what happened in 2015 and 2016? Kyle Shanahan showed up in Atlanta. And a good starting quarterback in Matt Ryan became an otherworldly quarterback. As a matter of fact, when Kyle Shanahan got hired by the 49ers, Field Yates of ESPN did an interview with the 49ers media, and he was asked point blank, how much credit for Matt Ryan's MVP season in 2016 does Kyle Shanahan deserve?
he certainly catapulted Matt Ryan's play to a new level. And when you have an offensive system that is so multiple, 13 players caught a touchdown pass for the Falcons during the NFL regular season, the most in league history. That right there speaks to a system that puts players in a position to succeed. And Matt Ryan had really one area that he struggled in a major way in 2015, which was red zone turnovers. And those were essentially a thing of the past in 2016. So certainly Kyle Shanahan is someone that I can imagine Matt Ryan would say anytime you ask him this question, just how much he has respect for and just how he believes he contributed to this season's success.
So Kyle Shanahan took a good player, a good starting quarterback in Matt Ryan, and turned him into an NFL MVP. By the way, after Kyle Shanahan left Atlanta, do you know how many more times Matt Ryan made the postseason? 0. After 2016, when they went to the Super Bowl, they went 10-6 in 2017, 7-9, 7-8, 4-12, 7-10. Then he had one season in Indy where they went 4-7-1. Kyle Shanahan was the unlock that took Matt Ryan to a new level. What I am submitting to you is that Klint Kubiak, in that same Kyle Shanahan system, by the way, looks like he is doing for Derek Carr what John Gruden, Bill Callahan did for Rich Gannon in the late 90s, early 2000s, what Kyle Shanahan did for Matt Ryan. They took a starting quarterback in the NFL, a good starting quarterback, but not anyone that people would consider one of the top quarterbacks in the league. And they turned those players into NFL MVPs. And through 2 weeks, and I get it, it's 2 weeks, Derek Carr looks like an MVP candidate. Now, can he do this over 17 games? I don't know. We'll see. I hope so. Am I also terrified that Klint Kubiak is going to be hired to be a head coach next year and then you're going to see a massive regression? Yes, I am, but I'm not focusing on that. I'm focusing on the otherworldly production the New Orleans Saints have had through 2 weeks, even though it is an outlier. I don't care that it's an outlier. Because if Klint Kubiak coming here is elevating Derek Carr's play, is finding a resurgence for Alvin Kamara, is implementing a run scheme that is making Trevor Penning look like an NFL starting offensive tackle, then I will take every beautiful moment that this organization has with Klint Kubiak. Because the one thing I think we all universally agreed on this season about the New Orleans Saints, this offseason, about the New Orleans Saints, was that Klint Kubiak was an excellent hire. They had to move on from Carmichael. And if this keeps up at this pace, the Saints are a contender. Derek Carr is going to be an MVP candidate, and the Saints might be a championship contender again. Long way to go. But I think we are identifying an outlier in MVP history, in NFL history, like we saw with Rich Gannon, with Matt Ryan, and maybe Derek Carr is next on that list. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.